What's up, guys? I am back with another one. Today's topic, it's a touchy subject. It really is. But it's not for you guys. It's for a different part of the society out there. I don't think there's too many people that are from this group that actually watch my videos. So maybe we'll get some more. But this topic, I mean, it's sugar-coated just as much as fucking Dunkin' Donuts in New Hampshire, bro. And it's veterans versus politicians and companies, corporations, things like that. So the first topic, I mean, we'll get into the politician side of things. Now, everybody knows my my ideas and my thoughts when it comes to veterans, and some definitely deserve more, and others have kind of leached off the system. Now, if you know me personally, all of my issues are recorded issues. I mean, everything that was registered to the VA, my medical records, everything like that, it's all there. So there's proof in the pudding, you know. The proof is in the pudding. Is it pudding? Pudding or pudding? Proof is in the pudding? Why would proof be in the pudding? I don't fucking know. Anyway, anyways, the politicians, it's like every election year they wake up in the morning and they go, "Hey Alexa, remind me to care about veterans for the next 90 days." Or even the troops, for example, right? Remind me to care about the troops. Because what does America like to hear? They like to hear that the veterans are being taken care of. And don't get me wrong, the VA that I deal with, that I go to, they're great people. And I've heard horror stories. So I haven't dealt with the horror stories, and I don't know if it's just lazy veterans or what it is, but I don't have too many issues. So I don't know, it's a weird case. It really is. But don't believe the politicians when they say they care about veterans or active duty troops or anything along those lines, because they don't. So politicians during election season, right, they'll stand on stage, wave their arms around. Veterans are the greatest. Veterans are our heroes. Veterans are this. Veterans are that. And yet, the real fact is nobody wants us there, right? When you see politicians shaking hands and taking photos, it's all for them. It's not for us, it's for them. They just want, it's a photo op. They just want to be seen and heard. And after it all's said and done, we're thrown to the wolves. And it really kind of sucks. If they could rent us for the day, they would, right? It'd be like a get your veteran here. Like, I need 2 Marines and an Army guy. They're like, the best we got is 1 Navy and 1 Coastie. And they're like, oh, the Coasties, those guys aren't real. They're not the real that's like a lifeguard. Better yet, just grab me a fucking lifeguard and throw him out here with me. We'll put him in a uniform and call it a day. I don't know how many times I can say this. I don't know how many. But politicians, dude, they're just some of the nastiest freaking people out there. And I don't care who you think you like. If you saw them behind closed doors, you'd probably be like, I'm not sure I like them. They're always for whatever you think they're for. And then when it comes down to actually getting shit done, they don't. It's a free ride. Right? Isn't it after 1 term that they get benefits for the rest of their life? What's 1 term for them? Is it 2 or 4 years? I'm not really sure, but I know it's something like that. It's applause and not resources. That's what they like to give. They like to take that picture. You get used as a human campaign, and then you're just done. So one of these empty promises that they put out there, right? And one of the bills that, you know, would help a lot of veterans, it's 50,000 plus veterans at this point, is the Major Richard Starr Act. And what this bill does is it allows veterans that were combat related, retired, retarded. I mean, maybe some of us are, but it allows us veterans that are combat related and medically retired to claim both their VA and their retirement. And people may say, well, that doesn't seem right. You can't claim retirement if you didn't do the 20 years. But they're not basing it off of that. They're basing it off of years served. So it would be retirement based off of how many years you were in, and you'd also get your VA pay, which is something that could change a whole lot of people's lives, and they're calling it double dipping. Now, this fucking guy that denied this bill, Roger Wicker from Louisiana, he's a Republican, he stated that it's double dipping. Now, in the military and in the government aspect of things, double dipping is when you're like, you're pulling money from the same thing, right? But you're getting twice the amount. Does that make sense? It's kind of, I don't know, for me it's tough to explain because it doesn't make sense to me. But say you retire at 20 years, you go to the VA and you're 50% in the VA. Now 50%, what that does is it gives you the VA paycheck and also your retirement. If you get under 50%, you get a VA paycheck and a portion of your retirement, but a portion of your retirement is taken by the VA so that then they can make it tax-free, so you don't have to pay taxes on that portion of your retirement. So anything under 50%, that's how it goes. Anything over 50%, you get to have both. So is that considered double dipping? I think it would be in the eyes of these people, but they don't really understand it like that. So there's just bills that go out, you know, and they fight for them and they vote on them, and then they say, well, no, screw these guys. You know, even the combat related guys that did the craziest of crazy shit overseas, and they still get the shaft. They come back to the United States thinking they're going to be taken care of by the VA, or have politicians that actually cared, and they don't, you know, and it's just such a bullshit case. It's so sad. So if you want, I mean, you could support veterans. All you got to do is you got to contact your senators, the people that run your states, and ask them why it was denied, and if they knew anything about it. A lot of them agreed with it, but who knows if after Roger Wicker stood up that somebody else would have stood up and been like, you know what, no, I don't like this. So if he agreed with it, somebody else could have just stood up and been like, I don't agree with it, and then it would have been canceled still. All it took was one person not agreeing to send it up for an even bigger vote to be passed into law, and yet he fucked us. And the best part is he's an ex-Air Force guy, officer, so we know how some of those guys are. What's next? What do we got going on next? So we got the politician side of things. Remember, they don't care about us veterans. It's all a fucking stunt. It's all political pawns. That's how we are, and that's how we're treated. That's not how we are, but that's how we're treated. And then once the day is over, they forget all about you. And dude, I'm telling you, I don't care about who it is. Once you're that high in politics, they don't give a shit, dude. They just want their money. They want to be able to control different companies, have companies donate. Why do you think all these politicians have made so much money in their life? They go from, you know, broke-ass jobs or normal jobs to becoming a politician to then having millions of fucking dollars. Millions of dollars. Now, if you don't think that's weird, I don't know what else to tell you. Alright, now let's talk about corporate America, where patriotism is measured in tax credits and bumper stickers. Right? Isn't that how it goes? Don't you see those? We support our troops. We support our veterans. Especially when like Memorial Day and Veterans Day rolls around, you start to see it pop up a little bit more. Now it's all bullshit, and let me tell you why. Most companies' ideas of supporting veterans is like, you know, handing them a parachute stuffed in by a guy that failed an origami class to then have you jump out of this plane all the way down to the ground for HR to say impact confirmed. They'll stand there with a clipboard. So that's about as good as you get treated as a veteran, all right? A lot of companies out there, right? So for me, this is an example on my half, right? When I started working for a company, I don't need medical insurance because I was technically retired out of the military. So I have medical insurance that I pay for, brought to you by the finest US government that there's ever been. So a lot of the times you can play off that, because for companies it costs money for them to afford you health insurance, right? So they have to pay, you have to pay. It's like that's one of the deals you get for working for companies with health insurance. So yeah, you may get health insurance through your company, but you still have to pay, and they still have to pay. So with me, they don't have to pay. So it's kind of it's like a leverage opportunity where maybe I can get some more money out of them. Well, it didn't fucking happen in my case. And I think I've told you my case, but it didn't happen. I got out of the military, I wanted, you know, $50,000, $55,000. And I thought, you know, being a honest person got you places in life, and it didn't. Not in my case. So when I went to work, or when I went in for the interview, the guy's like, well, how much do you want? This is after the interview process. And I said, you know, it would be really nice to make what I made as an E5 getting out, and you know, $55,000, $56,000. And he's like, perfect, you're in. And at that point in my own head it clicked, and I was like, well, I could have asked for more, because he was like, there was no fighting about it. And it's not that I expected the company to be like, yeah, dude, we'll pay you as much as we possibly can. I get it, but also to have my first work experience out after the military, thinking that a company that was military friendly would kind of show me the ropes and be like, hey, this is what you got to do. And no, they weren't about that. They just pretty much told me, yeah, fuck you, here's your job. Thanks for not taking too much out of our pockets. So that's my experience, right? And the other thing too is work opportunity tax credit, the WOTC. It's a tax credit the companies will get for hiring on veterans. Now, this tax credit could be $1,000. It could be $10,000. I think it's a max of 10 grand. So two of these companies were like fucking Pokemon cards, right? Like, we got the holographic veteran this time. He's worth like thousands of fucking dollars, and that's kind of how they fucking treat us. And then you earn this tax credit after so many months, and then some companies will actually fire these veterans. They will call it a day. They wanted them there just for the tax credit, for the money purposes, monetary value, and then you're fucking done, dude. And how shitty is that? And then they see all of these like leadership skills, right? Leadership under stress and critical thinking under stress, and they're like, yeah, no, that's awesome. You're gonna work with Bob here, counting boxes in the back room. And then you have people at HR too, where they, you know, they'll be like, oh, well, this person seems overqualified. And overqualified is a horrible fucking thing to say when you're in this corporate America, and I've come to find that out. Overqualified means that they're afraid that if you get this job, that you may eventually take their fucking job. And it's not that I'm overqualified, it's just that you're fucking stupid. That's what it is. And then I honestly, I don't believe any of like the company commercials, the marketing ads, where it's like a veteran that's like, this company changed my whole life and I love working here. And it's like in the background, you got like the fucking owner of the company, the kid's manager, and HR all staring them down and be like, don't you fucking say a word about this place. And that's what happens when you're new to the workforce and you get out and you do, I don't know, you work at big companies, I guess. It's just, it's such a different world. And then there's this quote that says, they want us in their brochures and not in their boardrooms. Now, we are rough people. A lot of us are rough people. We swear, we say what we think. It's just the way of the world, especially in the military. It's patriotism with a price tag. And at the end of the day, we're just going to call it corporate greed, politician greed. And it's all dressed up like the 4th of fucking July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
It makes me want a hot dog real bad. Yeah, okay.
I don't know, maybe this will get some veterans on my page. That'd be kind of cool. I like talking to other vets, even though you guys wouldn't consider me a veteran. But I'm here for it. I stick up for as many people as I possibly can. I help out with people when they need like VA stuff. I don't do the paperwork for them, but I try to point you in the right direction. Whether it's the wrong direction, I'm sorry. I ain't got nothing else. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, like and subscribe. I already said like, hit it twice, unlike that bitch, then like it again. Alright? And I will see you in the next one.